Hello and welcome back to another episode of Faeria. Since we last did an episode, I've been playing quite a lot of online play. So I've ranked up a lot. I'm now level 24. So because of that, we've unlocked a few extra cards. So every few levels, you end up unlocking some cards. We've picked up some extra chests. So some of these guys. That appear there. I've not got any at the minute, but yeah. So we've picked up some of those. So we've unlocked a variety of cards, and I've been playing around with the decks a little bit. So you remember previously I was fairly comfortable with the green starter. I knew what I was doing with that, but I've mixed it up a lot. And since then, I've come to create what I've called the fusion pack, which contains a variety of cards from the red, green and the blue deck. I think he is. Let me just check him out. Yep. So green, blue, red. There we go. And one from the sandy sort of windy foot deck. That one's quite a cool card. So whenever you attack a god, this particular character gains +3/+0. So whenever any character attacks a god, this guy gains a buff. So that's kind of a useful one to be able to play. So just one from that pack. So just to mix it up a little bit. So picked on. We've created that. We've messed around one with a fire and water sort of mix. Also have this one which I've called chips at the minute because a reasonable number of the cards are fairly cheap, but one of the things that it also does is it chips away at the enemy. So we've got a lot of these sort of Bloodsinger characters in here. What else? There's the where is he? Bloodsinger and the Blazing Salamander, the Shadime Brute, whatever you want to call it. Those ones, as well as the Blood Obelisk, will do damage to the enemy creature when certain events happen. So when the enemy dies, when we take Faeria, so various other bits and pieces in combat. So it kind of allows us to be quite defensive, but also attack the enemy. So that's got a bit of a mixed bag. And then also I created a really cheap deck which I just played around with, so it's just full of things like Farm Boys and some really cheap guys. But then Ruining the Relentless, every time he dies, he goes back into your deck and gets stronger. Sorry, she goes back into your deck and gets stronger. So you can keep replaying it. So it's an expensive card, that one, but the rest of them are dirt cheap. And it has actually won a couple of games. It may need tweaking here or there to get some more interesting cards down at this level, but it's a different way of doing it. So yeah, we've changed the deck around a little bit, but I have not touched the missions, just online battle play. So we're going to continue with our missions. Our current mission, thing that we've got to do at the minute, is taking on the Shara epic mission, finishing off the Shara pack. So let's get to it. I'll play one of my new decks. So thinking we'll go chips. We'll play chips for a change. This way I can show you some new cards, some new kind of tactics, and yeah, make it a bit more interesting than just green deck. So here we go, Shara. So here we go. We picked two Battle Ragers. They're decent cards, but I don't really want two of them to start with because they are quite expensive. So we'll ditch one of those. The Blazing Salamander is decent as well, but once again quite expensive. So I'm gonna ditch that one at the minute, and we'll pick it up later. Could have been better. So we've got expensive cards and a damage deal, which is okay, but we can get things going. So, because we can't really do much attacking at this stage, and one of the tactics for this kind of deck is to be fairly defensive, I'm going to play us over that sort of direction, but I'm going to use one of those to start with. Can't deploy anything on our first go if we do put two islands in, some prairies, so what's the point? Might as well just use one and it's more powerful. Shara coming in with the unlikely hero. And yeah, so every time the first time this creature fights and survives, it gains +3/+3. So it's important to get 2 damage on this one, but because it's protected, that's going to make it a lot harder because you can't kill it with the first go. So it will get buffed. It's a good way of using the protect. Bloodfire Wisp is another good one because it gets a buff every time an enemy creature dies. So it's quite a good one to have in our deck down at this sort of end of the board. So what I'll do is I'll play another one of those. I'm going to put the Bloodfire Wisp in because it's cheap. It gets us the extra bonus Faeria points, and potentially on our next go, if we've got nothing else we can do, we can get rid of the unlikely hero over here with the Flame Burst. Shara seems to be playing fairly neutral here. There's no funky land tiles coming out, so it may stick that way possibly. Kobold Warbeast, reasonable card, fairly low in expense, but it's got decent power, so quite useful really. So what I'll do is I'll stick another one of those over there so that we can move over this way towards this Faeria well. Then we can drop down the Kobold Warbeast and we can kind of pick from that one a bit. In the meantime, as I kind of said before, we could take out the unlikely hero with this Flame Burst and it'll reduce their Faeria intake. So we'll do that. Buffs this guy a bit, and yeah, removes that extra Faeria point. Waryak. Pulling out the cards now. Has +2/+0 or your opponent has 10 life or less. Well, we don't. So here's the Bloodsinger. So the Bloodsinger, whenever an enemy creature dies, will deal 1 damage back to their opponent. So it's a really useful card to have in your deck when you're playing sort of a slightly more defensive strategy. We'll drop this one in here on the Kobold Warbeast because it's a good sort of one to have at the back, whereas the Warbeast can actually play a bit further forwards really. We're going to struggle with the Wisp. We can't take this guy out and we will die, so we need to start planning ahead off the back of that. What can we do? Well, we can hold that position for now, and that's about it really, because we can't put any more tiles in, and we can't, other than the Warbeast, we can't really afford anything else, so we might as well just leave it there and wait for him to be taken out on our next turn. We'll do a reasonable amount of damage though, because we got the buff from that first kill. Protection. Shara's all about the protection by the looks of it. Should only have like 3 of those in the deck though, so there should be 1 more left and then we should be okay. So something for us to probably do here would be to put those in, so we strengthen in our defensive position, but we can also drop in the King's Guard now into this sort of spot, so that prevents the Waryak from kind of going any further forwards. Yeah. But yeah, so me and Masterless have played a few kind of friendly battles offline, playing around with different decks and different strategies. It's been good fun. We're definitely going to get a lot more videos out on Faeria because it's quite entertaining. We have a good laugh doing it against each other, and yeah, it's good fun. So here we go. Another protection spell gone down there. Very unfair. So we don't really want to do much with this guy right now. Doesn't help us to do anything. We're locking that guy down at the minute, so we might as well just wait for him to attack us again. We've got a bonus card for that last encounter. So what we could do is drop the Underground Brigand down in this spot, and depending on who this guy attacks, we can kind of potentially get in there on our next turn. Or we could do it now, I suppose. Well, no, we can't attack with both yet, but yeah, you see where I'm going with it. Once that protection's down, we can take it out with the other one. Nothing to do with the Bloodsinger. Might just drop. If I drop the Fire Elemental, can we afford it? So if I take that, drop the Fire Elemental, and put that land there, that kind of blocks off a little bit more, stops them progressing down this way. And then we can start to fill in the middle a little bit. It's also useful taking out these tiles, because if you get one character in that sort of position, you can kind of dot between the two. So that's kind of a useful tactic to have as well. There we go. So that's that protection down. Oh, it's buffed it. Harsh. That's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, we can do it. We'll gain the extra Faeria, which is always nice. And this one's only got 1 left. It'd be great if we had one of the spitters. Can't remember exactly what they're called, Vile Spitter or something like that. But basically, it does 1 damage to a character from a range, so that's quite useful to have. if we deployed the Battle Rager in, when he does 5 damage to us, it's going to do 5 damage to their creature, their hero. The Shadowland Brute, if we deployed that one, would only do 2 damage back, and we wouldn't lose it, but we would take out that one. We would lose that one though, but it does more damage. Swings and roundabouts, really. Who knows which is the better way to do it. We'll go with the Battle Rager. It should do more damage. And we'll fill in these tiles there, because that just kind of shores up our defense a little bit. Move this guy into the middle, and leave that guy where he is, because, well, yeah, there's no reason to move. Hopefully we'll get a Blood Obelisk or something like that out soon. Kind of strengthen our chip away attack. There you go, you see, so done 5 damage plus an extra bonus damage from the Bloodsink because their minion died. Okay, Blazing Salamander does 2 damage when you deploy it. Don't really have anything that's worth using on as such. The Warjak's gained a buff, which makes it quite strong. But we can do a reasonable amount of damage with the Cobalt Ball Beast, and it's not very expensive. Yeah, so it's probably a reasonable way to go. We need to be fairly defensive in this sense, and if we do manage to take out this Warjak at some point over the next turn or two, then it's going to do damage to their enemy, and that's what we're all about really in this particular round. Well, in the whole game, but this style of play is all about kind of taking out the minions to take on the hero. So there you go. It's going to cost us 2. So we're going to have to go and attack it again. What we can do is the Fire Elemental. It's got decent damage, low life though, so it's not going to last forever. Yeah, it's probably our best move. I mean, we could take a card. If we take a card, we might get something. Yeah, okay, we just got the Blood Obelisk, which is good. Because what we can do is deploy the Blood Obelisk, then kill it, and then that will do us a bit better. Yeah. Downed. Kill that one off. Does damage to the enemy, plus the damage for the Bloodsinger. So decent. Decent. What we can then do is use the Hold of the Line, which will give us 2 of the Imperial Guards. Deploy one of the Imperial Guards in that probably that position. That will then protect the Blood Obelisk a little bit. Extra line of defense, really. And we can then throw. To be fair, I could have probably deployed him there. Then we'd have got the extra Faeria points. But it's, yeah, oh well, it's too late now. That's it. That's that turn. So yeah, I still make a lot of mistakes in this game. I've played it a lot more, so I understand it a lot better. But yeah, I definitely make a lot of mistakes still when we're playing it. Okay. So what I'm thinking now is if we take... that's a shame, can't do it. I was going to say, if we take an extra Faeria point, then we could drop the Blazing Salamander in here and take both of these guys out, but we can't, because we can't take a Faeria and deploy a mountain there. So we could only take out one of them. It's a shame. We've got the Flame Spitter, so if we use the Flame Spitter there, we can take out that guy. It's not ideal, but it does that sort of range damage. Ideally, I'd like to have been able to take out the Outland Ranger as well, but there's not much we can do. We couldn't do both. And if we deployed a Taunt card there, the Imperial Guard, one of them could have took it out and still kind of moved on through to take on the Blood Obelisk anyway, so it wouldn't help us out much, really. So yeah, that's kind of where that's at. What else? Is it worth us putting land? We're probably more important to get the Faeria down at the minute, so we'll do that. See, Shara's pulling out a lot of Faeria points there. It's 23 points. Kind of concerned that she's got something uber in her pack that she's going to deploy and do us a lot of trouble. But you know, we got down to a level 11. So we can drop in this guy and put him over there, because I can use this guy to take him out like that. And if I take another Faeria point, we can put the Imperial Guard there. That'll get us the extra Faeria again. Next time we can move the Shadine Brute forwards and start getting some of that deal 2 damage to your opponent by taking out this unlikely hero. It's insane. So many cards, so much Faeria, I don't understand what she's doing. But yeah, so we'll move forwards, do the attack, get the extras in there. We can take out this guy with this guy as well, which would be reasonable because that's going to do some more damage to her again. Yeah, why not? We can then deploy this one down here. If anything should come in either of these sides now, when we do damage, it's going to do 2 damage to her, so it's pretty decent really. I'll take the extra card this time round, if you'll let me. There we go. Another Flame Spitter. See, you notice we've done so much damage to their hero, but we haven't gone anywhere. We've stayed close. Oh, it's a shame. It's a shame. We'll leave me there. Okay, so she's got heal cards. Now she's giving buffs to these guys. That's not too big a deal. I mean, it's a shame because we will lose the Shadine Brute, but we can do that. Does the extra damage. If we deploy, can we do that? 3, 4, yeah. So if we take Faeria point, deploy the, go on, do it, yeah. Flame Spitter there, and we can break that protection. We then can use Sifa's Wrath on that guy, which will do more damage to the hero again. That's quite a good combo, and we'll leave that turn up. Harsh. Queen's Assassin, so that's single touch kill, which is probably quite a useful one to have around. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to start moving some tiles forwards because we can get a nice close attack with something like the Blazing Salamander or a Fire Elemental or something like that potentially from there. Steamforged Enforcer would be a good one to deploy as well. So I'm going to do that. I might move. Do we need the Faeria points? I might wait because this guy's going to have to come in close, so if we can take him out when he moves in, all is well. I'm not going to use the points. There's not really much point at this stage. Okay, so that's interesting. So he's giving it a gift to increase its strength quite high. So now Queen's Assassin is going to be quite important for taking out that one. So Queen's Assassin in there. We can actually still attack with the Shadine Brute onto this one, and that will do some damage to their hero, which is quite useful. Just like that. If we, let's think about it. If we take a point, we can then deploy the Steamforged Enforcer, and on our next go, we can put land in there and move forwards and do the going for the kill. Steamforge, decent card, adds +1/+0 to a random card every turn, so pretty decent card to have in your deck. But we don't really need it this time around. There's the old Bloodsinger, useful one. Let's go finish it off though. Go, epic match. So that yak was buffed so much then right at the end, and could have been really deadly if we hadn't made that decision to deploy the Steamforged Enforcer in that one earlier turn. Yeah, otherwise we'd have lost. There we go, mission pack completed. What do we win? 250 pointages. We also completed a quest, which gives us extra coins and a Pandora coin. So, mission complete. It does actually put us in a position where we've got 1,120 gold, so what we can do is come into the store here. We can buy ourselves a battle chest for the 1,000 gold, and let's see what we got. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, some decent cards there. So Bold Bargainer, random card in your hand costs 7 less. So it costs 7 in itself, but if you've got some big cards in your hand, it's making them cheaper. So it's kind of free in that sense. The Tiki Totem gives a +1/+1 for any cards that come in. The first card that comes in per turn, so that's quite a useful one to have. Ignis the First Flame does 4 damage to randomly split enemies on the board when you take a +1 Faeria from the wheel. So if you've got that on there but they've got no creatures down, it's just going to do 4 damage straight onto their enemy. So that's probably a good one for us to have in the chips deck. Deathwish Ghoul for the windy sandy sort of method, gain 2 Faeria on death, and the Elderwood Hermit, we've got a few of those already, but that gives a buff to another character on death. There we go. So if we go back to our missions, we now have the Aurora pack and the Siva pack. The Siva pack was the first one that we had there out of these, so it probably makes sense for us to go for that one because potentially it may be slightly easier. So rather than kind of getting really into the Aurora stuff, Aurora, we do actually have a card which is named Aurora, so we may end up coming up against that in that deck, but no, we'll go for the Siva mission pack. So another thing to talk about is the Pandora mode. You basically get a coin, and then there's like a set of, well, so it's like a run the gauntlet, in that you try and get as far as you can by winning online matches, and the more you win, the more you win. So you get gold, you get chests and stuff like that. So if you've got a strong pack that you build at the start, puts you in a good position. This is a win this turn puzzle game. We have a jump Triton Warrior, so that kind of gets us in close, which would possibly mean we could take out this taunt. The Mace Man doesn't really have anything though, so he can't actually move other than to there, so he would take out that guy, and then I guess we drop him onto there. So we do this, jump to there, and then we can do the attack. Just like that. Nice simple puzzle just to warm us up for this pack. Kind of got an implication that there's a sort of a water element that's kind of focused on for this particular pack. The fact that they threw in the jump there, they was trying to get you interested in that side of things. It's not something that I've found that strong so far. I mean, I've got a little bit in my fusion deck, and maybe we'll pick fusion if we actually get to a battle rather than a puzzle. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So it's another win this turn. The Ninja Toad has got jump and haste. We can deploy a tile, so I'm guessing the Barbarian Ogre is fairly sort of useless. But we can jump up here. We can deploy one of these there. We can stick the Ninja Toad down, jump again, and do an attack. Just like that. Simples. Okay, another puzzle. Looks like this one's got a chest as a reward though, so that's good. I like that. Variety of stuff. So this is kind of mixing it up a bit in that we've got forest, standard cards, and the win cards. Kalim's follower has got +2/+0 against gods, so it does 2 damage against the god. This one will buff it to give an extra 2 damage. This has got haste. Kind of don't understand what Kalim's follower is there for particularly. If we deploy that one there, we don't have enough Faeria, I see. Well, how do we get close with this guy? It's interesting. May have messed that up by putting the freedom fighter in there because we hadn't quite realised that we couldn't deploy this as well because of the Faeria points. Didn't think about that. We'll stick Culling's follower down there, but I don't know that. So yeah, it doesn't allow us to kind of move very far. So not sure how we get that one into the map. So we need to rethink this one. Slightly more challenging puzzle. So we've got 6 Faeria points, of which we've got 3. I suppose if we deploy Kalim's follower here, we can do the move that we said earlier, and we can move between these two. That gives us more Faeria points. 5, 6, 7. It's still not enough, is it? Still not enough. Can we deploy him there? It gives us the extra one. That there, and we can move in and do the attack. There we go. Got it. Like that. That was more challenging. Had to think outside the box a little bit more. So yeah, it was good. And there we go. Our mission reward. Little pack of cards. So before we move on to the very next puzzle, lots of puzzles in this one. Let's check out that battle chest. Boom, 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 boom. Ogre Battler, quite a powerful one with Taunt. King's Faithl's got protection on it. Tyrannax, fairly standard sort of water card. Reasonable damage and life, but nothing interesting really. Oath to Oblivion, destroy a friendly creature, summon a 6/3 Oblivion Rider with charge 3 in its place. So that could be quite good if you've got something really low level. Kill a Farm Boy and replace it with a 6/3 Oblivion Rider. And the Deathwish Ghoul, which gives you Faeria when it dies. Interesting cards, not the most amazing ones, but you know, any that we're not really interested in we can potentially disenchant anyway to get crystals that we can make something better. So let's move on to the next puzzle. Where were we? Not battle. Habits. Been playing a lot of battles. Back to the missions. Okay, next puzzle. So we have a campfire. We have aquatic with charge 3, so that gets us right up close. Okay, so it's the same sort of thing again. This ruby fish is aquatic, so it can move off of land, just like that. Gets us the extra Faeria point. This one we can jump to there. We can apply the campfire on it and have the killing blow. So once you know, it becomes easier. It's slightly formulaic in that sense. Puzzle again. So many puzzles. Tell you what, we'll hold there, because if there's more puzzles, if it's all puzzles, we don't want to just do puzzles. So we'll check out the Aurora pack, see whether it's something other than a puzzle. It's an epic mission. Okay. Let's go for an epic mission. What we'll do is we'll pick the fusion. Show you off the fusion pack. Fusion is one of the ones where it either comes off or it doesn't, because there's such a variety of cards in there and you have to use the different tiles. It can be really powerful or you can get completely owned, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Reasonable. Let's think. Okay, I might ditch the Cobe. I'll get rid of the King's Guard for now. We'll redraw that one because it'd be good to Runin's pretty cool. So we've got 2 greens. Runin keeps going back in our hand, so we can keep deploying. Really good one to get out early on where possible. Would you like some tea, dear? Yes, I would love some tea. So we'll do just that. We're going to start by deploying some forests. We can get 2 of those out. We get Runin out. Wood Elemental. So it's good, but I don't really want to deploy it just yet because it's going to use up my points. If I do that, I can deploy Runin, and then we'll just wait there. We can get the Faeria points from that one. Boom, bonus Faeria points. We can Kobold Warlord. So Kobold Warlord gives a random creature you control +3/+0 when it's in combat. So that's quite powerful for really buffing up your cards. Yeah, I like it. It's one of the cards that I really like in the deck. But it's not always easy to play it to its best effect. You do have to have other things on the table, so sometimes you can kind of miss out. Nice that it only requires one of the mountain tiles though to get it out. So if we deploy one of those there, we can deploy the wood elemental, which gives us another forest, and we can then move towards the forest on our next go. Or we can use the Elderwood Hermit potentially. I might want to hold. No, yeah, I could deploy the Elderwood Hermit because that's probably in a good spot there to hold it really. If you throw a green rock into a purple river, what happens? Well, I imagine it will ripple. Aurora's not doing much at the minute. It's concerning. So I might move the wood elemental over there, possibly start to move into a slightly more attacking position. We can deploy possibly a mountain up here and get the Kobold Warlord out, or the Kobold War Beast out. Either of those in that sort of position would be reasonable. It's intriguing. Drop this guy down. Puts us in a fairly strong position. Not entirely sure what's going on, but I'm expecting something epic to be deployed. Or do this, because if we can get a couple more across there, we're going to really kind of shut it down. If we deploy this Imperial Guard there, get the Faeria from that well on our next go, and we'll be doing fairly strong. Yes, I would hurt an old woman in this instance. So I'm going to move this guy up there, and then we'll deploy a Kobold. Come on, mouse, work. Kobold War Beast. Why aren't you working? Come on. Ah, me being silly. It's because we don't have two of these. It'd be nice if it gave you a little message though, rather than just kind of saying, "Yeah, I'm not going to do anything." We'll drop. We can't drop. I don't want to drop down there. I want to drop up there. What I'll do is I'll move this guy forwards. Put her in there, and then we can get Runin into the battle as well. Because I've just got that feeling that, you know, this talk about tea. I finished my tea. She's talking about, you know, she's gonna get. There you go. She's getting busy now. Spending 10 to get 12. Aurora's dream. Something crazy going on here. Whoa, all sorts of stuff and things. Okay, so I think we missed an opportunity by getting out with a quick attack. We may have to deploy a different sort of deck, because this is crazy. What? Oh dear. Wow, so that was an epic change of hands. Um, yeah, that's not good. Okay, so we've got to take this guy on, which is a pain in the butt. Um, we can move this guy forwards to take that guy on. And we can get ruining a bit further forwards. Might. What have we got? We've got a Tyrannax. So if I deploy a water one in there, then we can deploy the Tyrannax on there. And we kind of need all three of these to start getting in some attacks. No doubt we'll probably end up losing most of these on our next go. You're welcome. If I knew that you were going to go so crazy once you had finished your tea, I might have moved a bit quicker. Okay, so that didn't do us too badly, because now... it's health, isn't it? Let's draw a card. Yes. Yes! I did not expect us to win that when all those cards came out. Wow. That fell in our favour then. I mean, that draw of that card, that was the ace in the hole. It was, yeah, happy days. And a little chest to finish on. So yeah, we're just going to open this chest up. We had some fun there. We did a battle to finish off the pack. We've had a couple of chests now. We did some puzzle matches, and then we finished off that with that little epic battle. See if there's anything decent in here. Most of those I've seen before. The Tiger Explorer, I've not seen that one. Game +2/+0 if you control 2 mountains, +0/+2 you control 2 forests. Useful for a fusion deck, gives it a good buff. The Spring Mochi. The next card you draw with an original cost of 7 or higher costs 3 less. Reasonable, not amazing, but for a cost of 3, not too bad to reduce something by 3. Especially if you can kind of put that position on one of the wells. The Oak Father, we've got Oak Fathers. We love the Oak Father. It's quite a powerful card, but not exciting. So, thank you for watching Faeria. I hope you enjoyed that. Look out for more battles with me and Masterless, where we continue mixing around with our decks, taking on some different challenges against each other. Yeah, look out for that, because that's going to be good fun. Check his channel out now as well, because he started putting on some Faeria battles other than the ones that we've done together. So he started doing a Pandora run, so have a look at that. It's quite interesting, and we'll get our own Pandora run on the go soon. So thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's been a pleasure. See you soon.